Hello everyone, welcome back, and I know it's been a while, but today I have something I am very excited to open today, and that is this thing. Do you see how big this thing is? Here's an EV model kit next to it. It's so big, it takes up pretty much the whole desk setup I have here. Like, it's not heavy, but it is huge. Okay, you know, honestly, it weighs a fair amount. And I've been very excited for this thing because I actually got it for a really good deal. I think it was like $60 off or something like that on the Big Bad Toy Store. So this was a crazy deal. I think I got it for like 90 bucks, which is insane for something this big. I mean, just look at the packaging. And then you got this back one. There's this artwork here, which looks really cool. I actually like this a lot. And then you got what the figure looks like on this side. And then you have to rotate. I have to move my whole body to move this thing. And the front looks amazing. Although one interesting thing I found out was that they actually, in Japan, Onix is called a different name, which I found surprising. I actually never knew that. But this is Kotobukiya's Onix versus Pikachu. I'm just gonna call it Onix because I know this Pokemon is Onix, but it's a figure of Onix versus Pikachu, and it's from the Artifacts line, I think it is. I think that's the line where they have a bunch of different Pokemon trainers as figures, but this one doesn't have Brock. It's just Onix versus Pikachu, and I mean, it looks sick. The Pikachu's cool and all, but my boy Onix is where it's at. That's where it's at. It's just, you can see the top of the figure. Nothing crazy or anything. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, this is just awesome. And so I guess I'll just get straight to the unboxing right now. There we go. I'm sure in video it looks big, but in person this thing's massive. This is probably the biggest box I've ever opened in my life, probably. Well, probably not. You know, IKEA furniture, those boxes are pretty big. But for a figure, this is massive. Okay. Okay. We got the figure out of the box, surprisingly. You know, just opening this thing is a process right now. You hear that? What did they use? Military grade plastic? Need more tape. There's so much tape everywhere, I literally have to find it all. They use clear tape on clear plastic. So then when I cut tape, I go, okay, I think that's all of it. And then I try to open it, and then there's another invisible tape that I didn't see. I just feel like I just opened like the MacGuffin or something. Here we got the little Pikachu. Ooh. Here's my boy Onix. He's massive. Here we have his tail. And then on the bottom of it, if I can get this thing out. Oh, of course there's more tape. Of course there is. Honestly, I'm actually glad there's more tape to keep this thing as secure as possible, because this thing is it's an art piece. It's not even an anime figure at this point. Okay, so the base here is inside this tray that has plastic tabs keeping it locked in, and it's pretty stuck in there. And I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to break it just from unboxing it, so I gotta be very careful here. Just look at the detail of the base alone. Like, this is the most detailed base I've ever gotten in an anime figure before. It's really good. I like it. Look at it. Look at it right there. Here is Onix's tail, which, wait a minute, is this? I think this might be magnetic. Is it? Or no? No, I don't think it is. No, I don't think it's magnetic. But it just rests on the base. Yeah, it just rests on the base. Okay. Yeah, it's locked in there. Not bad. Okay, it's probably because it's so heavy already, you don't really need a magnet, but I would have liked it, you know, just for extra security. Here is Onix himself in all his glory. Like, look at the detail of this thing. At this point, I don't even know if I should call this an anime figure or straight up just like a whole statue at this point. And here we have the little Pikachu. Yeah, the little Pikachu right here, as you can see. I'm so scared because this table was pretty wobbly, and I don't want to drop this thing because of all the little details it has. So I guess it's now time to assemble this thing here. All right, and here we have the whole entire thing, and it's crazy. Like, do you see how crazy this thing looks right now? Okay, so now one thing I want to say about the figure before we're continuing is it actually has trouble attaching to the base because if you look inside, I don't know if you can see it closely, you can see that there's still some like plastic shredding in there, or excess plastic that hasn't been removed yet. And so because of that, that's been blocking the Onix figure from actually attaching all the way into the stand, which is unfortunate because, I mean, it's a really expensive figure at full price. But, I mean, you can also display it. I think the whole purpose of this line is so that you can also display it without the base, like how I have it on the table right now. And then you can have the Pikachu here just laying there, ready to fight Onix. And here is the base up close, and as you can see, it is very detailed and it looks really good. Yes, there are some minor imperfections here, but overall it looks really good. Now the underside is not painted, but that doesn't matter too much because you're just looking at the top anyway. Now one thing that I did mention earlier was that the tail does have a magnet underneath, but unfortunately it's actually not a magnetic connection, it just rests on top of the base, which isn't too much of a problem because the tail itself is actually quite heavy. Before we talk about Onix, let's talk about the Pikachu. And I gotta say, I really like this Pikachu figure. It's really nicely detailed. And overall, I really like the dynamic pose it's in with the special effect part underneath and how it's just not a basic Pikachu sitting or standing, which is really nice. Now, I will say there's a very minor thing where one of the spikes in the special effect part is slightly bent inwards, but it's a very minor thing. It's basically just a nitpick. So aside from that, I really like this Pikachu. So, Onix. What can I say about him? Well, the detail on this figure is almost immaculate. I'm talking like this thing looks like it came straight out of the anime. That's how good it looks. And boy, that head sculpt, that thing just screams Onix. You can't mistake it for any other Pokemon. It looks great, and overall it just has that intimidating monster feel to it. Yes, there are some minor imperfections, just like with the Pikachu, but the rest of the figure is just so fantastic, I can forgive it, okay? You know, little things here and there, not a big deal. And when you combine the stand and the tail, this thing is like peanut butter and jelly, how well it works. Except I don't really like jelly, but you know what, you get it. Now, like I said earlier, Onix doesn't really fit onto its stand that well, and because of that, there's just a gap between Onix and the stand. And another minor thing is that Pikachu doesn't really have a place to go anywhere, so I guess you can put it outside of the base, but you could also put it on a random spot on the base, so yeah. It's not a big deal, but I did want to mention it. Having said that, when you have them together, they look great. Now you got a true David versus Goliath fight between the two. Unfortunately, just looking at this, you might think Pikachu has no way of winning against Onix, but you would actually be wrong, because for some reason, Game Freak decided to give Onix a base attack stat of 45. Now, if you don't know what that means Poliwag has a higher attack stat than Onix. This thing has 50 base attack. So it means that this thing can lift more than Onix at the gym. And you know how much Pikachu has? 55! So actually, in a battle of strength, Pikachu would win. Makes sense, am I right? Game Freak. But I did hear that the reason they did that, I don't know if this is true or not, is because in the original game, Onix is in the first gym, and they wanted him to be sort of like the first boss you fight, where he's easy enough to where beginners can actually beat him, but also tough enough to where they feel like scared. And if that's true, that means he sacrificed his base attack for your enjoyment. What a legend. He deserved this figure. I feel so emotional right now. It's just I never was this grateful for Onix. I never knew. Sorry about that. I don't know what overcame me there. But getting back to the review, here is Pikachu next to a Lego minifigure. And here is him next to a Transformer Voyager class Optimus Primal. Now, here is the same two figures next to Onix, just so you can see how different they are next to each other. And here is the two next to the Kotobukiya Saber Alter figure. And Onix is just slightly taller than Saber Alter over here. And so what are my overall thoughts on this figure? I think it is fantastic, and I absolutely do not regret my purchase at all. This is probably my favorite anime figure, if you can even consider it that, I own. And if you can get it, I highly recommend it, especially if you're an Onix fan like me. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all next time for whenever I upload next. Alright, bye!